Remember why you started. Or if you're in the phase of even beginning. I was having this thought the other day. I was having a basketball game. And for a very long time, basketball was my entire life. It was everything I did. I dedicated my entire existence to basketball, to the point where I have it tattooed on my body for the love of the game. That's what I did it for. I did it for the love of the game. That game that inspired me, that brought on everything, that, embodied my life and gave my life meaning and purpose and a direction and all of those things. And to the point where my body, including my tattoos, is a record of the stages of my life as I've gone through them. And I had to have that one where I was sitting back and I was thinking about it. I was thinking about where it all began and what brought me to this point. Because, if we're talking about 126, we're talking about chasing greatness, we're talking about being here. We're 230 odd days into this process. And once you get far enough along down the line, you start to forget about these things. You start to forget about why you started, the reason that pushed you into it. Because you've moved so far out of those points. I started lifting weights when I was 14 years old. And the reason was I was suicidal. I was fucking bullied and I hated my life and I hated everything about it and I hated that I lacked control. And working out gave me that. It gave me back control. It gave me something that I had pure control and dichotomy over. I could control what my body did. I could control how much pain I took. I was in pain and I was suffering in life, but I could dictate how much pain I physically took. And that gave me back this sense of control. It gave me back, ownership of my life, autonomy over my life, because I couldn't control what was happening out there. I couldn't control what was said to me and what happened to me, but I could fucking control what I put my body through. And put my body through for growth and benefit and all that kind of stuff. And this became the defining feature of my life. That's why I've dedicated my life to fitness. So I have worked out and lifted weights since I was 14 years old. I will turn 33 in 20 odd days, 18 days, something like that. And, I've spent that entire portion of my life, 19 years of my life, lifting weights, working out. Because it, to this day, is still the fundamental thing that gives me control over my life. It still gives me that sense of purpose and that I am in control, and when I am there, that it's about everything else. It's one of the myriad of reasons that I talk about fitness being the key component, the thing that leads to everything else, that pushes you into this direction, that allows your life to get better. Because not only does it make you fitter and healthier and, it gives you more energy and gives you confidence and it builds discipline and grit and all this kind of stuff, but it gives you one component that at every moment you are in control. You are in control of how hard you push. You are in control of how hard you work. You are in control of what you are doing. It gives you back control. And especially when you feel like you have lost all control of everything in your life. You now fundamentally have control of your life. And that's very empowering. It is very empowering when you feel like the world is against you. When you feel like everything is slipping away, when you feel like you can't win in life, get in the gym, get the fuck under a bar, and you will take back control of your life. You can stack wins, even from day to day. The simple fact of working out yesterday and today, that's a fucking win. If you got stronger from last week to this week, that's a win. Did you rest slightly less? That's a win. Did you, pump out an extra rep, that's a win. A little bit extra weight, that's a win. You can stack monumental levels of wins in the gym daily. And that starts to build your confidence. And that allows that to transfer into other areas of life. And eventually you get to a point where you forget how important that is. And you forget how much of a difference that will make in your life, because you've forgotten why you started. You forgot why you started in the first place. You forgot that you started for the love of the game. And that's something that you need to find again. You need to find the passion and the motivation. Yeah, granted, mine came from pain, as I'm sure for a lot of people's theirs did too. It started out from pain, but when you fall in love with the process, it becomes so much easier. I've fallen in love with this process of pushing myself, of driving myself, of seeing how far I can take it, of how hard I can work, of how much I can give, because it gives me is focus and drive. And it allows you to rise from the ashes. It allows you to be reborn. It allows you to find this new level and this new passion every single day. But you've got to find that love of what you're doing. Because we can get lost in the process. And then it becomes not gaining as much out of it, because you're just ticking a box. And if you're just ticking a box, yeah, you're further ahead than the person who's not doing anything. You're further ahead than the guy sitting on the couch, stuffing his face. Yeah, you are winning a bit, but how much are you winning? How much are you winning when you're not fully engaged, when you're not cognizant of what you should be doing, of the work that you should be pushing forward on? And for the love of the game could be applied to anything. Yeah, that was basketball. Basketball was my whole life until probably 22, 23. When, other priorities shifted, moved into the next phase of my life. But now, for the love of the game of life, the ultimate game, the biggest game, to win at fucking life. And what that looks like varies from person to person. But I think it's a sad representation for any man who doesn't pursue his own greatness, in whatever capacity that may be, in whatever formula that looks like. I think you need to get out there and pursue your best version. And I firmly and wholeheartedly believe that you cannot be the best version of yourself unless you're in great fucking shape. You cannot and will not reach your highest potential unless you are pushing yourself physically and then mentally every day. Because how can you be the best version of yourself? How can you become that highest version if you are not going out there and giving fucking effort? If just existence is effort, you're not showing up as the best version of yourself. If you're not in great shape and you're not healthy and, full of energy and working towards something, you are not the best version of yourself. And as always, if it's not enough to be like, I want to feel better about myself, cool, do it for others. Do it for your wife, for your kids, for your friends, for all those around you that you spend time with, for those you serve, whoever it may be. Because you will deliver a better version of yourself from being in better shape, from being physically active and pushing yourself and winning in those areas. As I said, every day you can stack up a win. It doesn't matter if, you're at my level or at the beginning level. If you're out there winning every day and pursuing it, you're on that path and you are progressing, and you know in your heart of hearts that you are that version of yourself. And that's where it counts, and that's where it matters. Because when you don't show up, when you don't give the effort, when you don't do the work, the only person you're cheating is you. The only person who will truly know if you went in and gave it your all, if you aren't self-handicapping and giving you an excuse of why things didn't work out, if you aren't, finding reasons to not work hard, if you're just ticking a box, no one will know. especially for me. Like, I'm at a stage where I'm in reasonable shape. I could phone in my workouts every day. I could just tick a box. Who's gonna fucking know? Who is ever gonna know that I didn't give it my all, that I didn't go out there and push to the absolute limit I had on that set, on that rep, on that workout, on that day? Nobody will fucking know. Nobody would ever know. But I would know. And I know I'm cheating myself out of that. That I am letting myself down. And look, it is an extreme version of it, but I think a lot of the times if we're going to push for greatness, if we're going to push for things of worth and note, you have to take on extreme versions of things. But I think about that every time I don't want to do it, every time I quit, that I have quit on my kids, I have quit on my wife, I have quit on my friends and family, I have quit on those people who I am here to serve and inspire and help them reach the next level. I have quit on them and I have failed them by not doing the work. By choosing the easy way out in the moment, I have failed them. Because I need, and I think we all need, things that are going to push us past that point. As I said, when you get too far into the process, it's very easy to lose sight of why you started this, to lose sight of what drives you to an obsessive level of work ethic. But you need an obsessive level. You need an obsession. You need to be working so hard that people think you're crazy, that you're obsessed with this. Because you should be fucking obsessed. Why is this a dirty word? All those who achieve great things in life are obsessed. And you should be obsessed with your life. You should be obsessed with building the best version of your life, becoming the best version of you. Because if you ain't fucking obsessed with being the best version of you, nobody is. Nobody's going to give two shits about that version of you. Nobody's going to care if you don't give it your all. If you're not willing to give up everything to be the best version of yourself, why would anybody else? Why would they? Why would they care if you aren't going to show up? So you have to find the love of the game, the love of the pursuit, the love of the process of doing this. And you need to reignite it in whatever fucking way gets it done. Whatever version of that gets it done. If it's failing your wife and children, if it's, wanting to be an inspiration to friends and family, if it's, remembering why you fucking started and you don't want to go back to, saggy man tits and hating the man in the mirror. If you don't want to be that man anymore, fine. Whatever fucking gets it done. And they might cycle through. I know mine cycle through depending on where I'm at the time. A lot of the times it's about being the best version for my kids and my wife. Sometimes I need to think of the sad sack of shit that I was back then. And I don't want to get back to it because it is a slippery fucking slope. And I cannot stand being that man again. I just don't want to get back there. So when I don't feel like it, when I don't feel like doing the work, I've got to remember those things. You've got to be able to put yourself back in that, known hell that you used to live in, that place that you don't want to be again. You have to put yourself back in that mindset. So you go, I refuse to get back to that point. I refuse to let this all slide. So I end up back there. Because, once things are good, it's easy to be like, that's good enough today. That's enough today. Fuck no. You have to find that pain. And I think there is a very good combination frequently between remembering that pain and reliving that pain. You hated that version of you, that you despised him and you had to end him. You had to kill the man that you used to be so that you could step into the next chapter of your life, because you cannot step into the next chapter if you continue to reread the old one. So as long as that version of you continues to exist, you cannot step forward. So you have to let him go. You have to end him. You have to stop him being a version of you that exists so that you can step into your highest version. And then couple that with the love of the process, the love of the journey, the love of where you're progressing, the love of winning the fucking day. If you become obsessed with winning every single day, of winning that moment, of being the best version of yourself, of pushing forward into the version that you know you can be, if you become obsessed with that, how great is your fucking life going to be? if you become obsessed with winning the day, of doing the work that is required, and focusing on growth and not settling for mediocrity and just being like, I am all in, and you love that process and you love those wins and you stack those wins daily, imagine who you could be. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Fuck, extrapolate it out. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. If you stack the wins every single day and you win the motherfucking day every day, and you fuel that with love and passion and that little bit of remembering who you don't want to be anymore, and you focus on building the best life that you can possibly have, you'd be shocked where you can be in 90 days. But who the fuck could you be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Who could you be at that point? You'd be unrecognizable. You'd be living a completely different life. And then if you just keep recreating those goals, setting new goals, finding new motivations, finding new desires to push forward. I can't stand, as I said, the lazy sack of shit that I used to be 230 odd days ago. I am disgusted by that man. And I'm still disgusted by the man I was 90 days ago, who I was when I finished the first round of 126. I'm about to finish phase 2 of 126 in perfect harmony or synchronicity or serendipity or whatever the fuck you want to call it. On my 33rd birthday, I will start phase 3 of 126 to greatness. I am going to kick that shit off with a bang. That 33rd year of my life, I am hitting that strong. And I thought that was the perfect synchronicity. Phase 3, 126, to really push through on my 33rd birthday. Yeah, that's something that is meant to be. That is the start of that year being the best year of my life. And just stacking them. I'm focusing all the time on stacking those wins and building to the next one and to the next one and to the next one and to the next one. I don't want this to be the best. I want, next year to make this year look like shit, and the year after that to make that year like shit. I want to keep progressing forward, and I want to fuel it with the love of the fucking game, to keep pushing forward, to be that phoenix that rose from the ashes, and to just keep excelling. And if you make every year better than the last, it doesn't mean that every day, every week, every month is going to be better, but the overall continuity of your life is better all the time. How great is your fucking life going to be? If you're constantly pushing for more, but deeply grateful and satisfied during the process, imagine how incredible your life can be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Imagine the legacy and the life that you could lead through that. That is something of note. That is something worth fucking doing. But only if you're willing to get in and do the work, if you're willing to stop letting the excuses hold you back, if you're willing to use the pain of where you were and the love of the game and the process to build you into that life. That is something that could be truly, truly incredible if you are willing to get in and do it, if you're willing to give it all, if you're willing to commit to the process, if you're willing to commit to the love of the game of life. So, if you're ready for it, if you're ready to get all fucking in and actually do what is required, to begin that process, to build that discipline, that mental fortitude, to see who you can become by committing to it, shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness. Let's start the fucking process and see who you can be on the other side. If you're not quite there, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if this spoke to you, if this was of value, if it connected with you, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm here every day, speaking to myself, but hoping to inspire to you at the same time, sharing this journey as I go through it, because I'm no different to you. I'm just slightly further down the track. So I hope this spoke to you, and I hope you'll be back again tomorrow. Until then.